So GP Organics, it's my business. So GP is for Gina Pina, which is my name. We're located down on the seaport, and these are all handmade, organic, natural products by me. Handpicked ingredients for men, women, children, and animals.
So do you have your own garden, or do you go to gardens and farms and stuff like that for your stuff?
So some of my products are imported from Nigeria, like my shea butters and my black soaps. My herbs, some of my herbs are from local farmers, and my other ingredients are from organic distributors and suppliers.
Okay, how did you get into this?
So I started this a couple years ago, formulating products for my daughter, who was losing her hair. And after creating a hair growth oil that regrew her hair and some eczema products, I decided, hey, this method works, the recipe works, and I was told by a couple of friends that I should start selling the recipe and the products because they work, and that's how I started. I like to say I do have the best handmade products, and you should go online at www.gporganicssoulcare.com.
This is grass-fed beef from Cloverbud Ranch in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, and we raise grass-fed beef to a high standard, rotationally grazing, and in a what we call regenerative pasture program. This grass-fed beef is 3 years. We graze to 3 years old, which is an additional year than most American beef, and we finish in the pasture. Beef is full of omega-3 healthy fats and no hormones or growth hormones and antibiotics.
This is what you call free range.
It is free range. This is from a red Devon. We favor the old heritage breeds because the frame size, they're not so big that we don't need to add grain and additional foods. They thrive in what we call a low input situation, on-site asset. So we lease 100 acres in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, and rotationally graze 40 head to a pretty high standard. Because most American beef is killed before 2 years old. Didn't have time to develop the flavor. And this is what we call European style beef. That is, you're gonna say, wow, I never even had that depth of
A little bit
flavor.
of horseradish. Is that horseradish?
Yeah. So we take great care of our animals. Nobody cares more for them, and we give them a great, long, stress-free life for about 3 years before we take their gift in gratitude. Their free-ranging life over our 100 acres for 3 years keeps them in a low-stress environment. And that way, that last day when we load them, the last mile, we can really take their gift in gratitude and manage their stress so we don't get a terrible adrenaline in the kill. And believe it or not, that adrenaline eats up glycogen in the meat and reduces its ability to tenderize while it's aging. So a low-stress kill is key.
Sweet Botanical bakes, shortbread cookies made with edible flowers.
I'm guessing you guys probably bake these cookies yourself.
Yes, I bake all the cookies myself. Yep.
Personal recipes.
Yes.
So tell me, how did you get into this?
I've been loving plants for a long time, and I used to work with plants in different ways. This was a fun way to engage with plants in a sweet but not too sweet fashion.
You grow some of the ingredients yourself?
Yes. This year I'm growing most of the flowers, which is awesome. Yeah. The violas. I mean, some of the verbena, the marigolds. Yeah, a bunch of them. So, which is really fun to grow your own flowers. It's very satisfying growing plants.
And to actually put them into cookies.
Exactly.
Even better.
Yeah, even better.
Now, this is a strange question, but I have a sweet tooth like for like nobody's business, and especially weakness for pastries. How do you not blow up and be in this business?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. I mean, I know my mom always used to say everything in moderation, but I just can't practice that. I don't know. You get used to it and you enjoy them, and then it's more about sharing them with others. That's what I think where the real pleasure comes.
So, is this a recent thing for you guys?
Yeah, I started this last fall.
And what were you doing before that?
I was doing a lot of different things. Managing property, I'm a psychologist. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Is this like more relaxing, more fun to be involved?
It's fun to like tap into that creative side of you, and get to share things you love. I've always been one of those people who just loves to share food. So I was relieved when I did a genetic test and I realized there was a little bit of Italian in me, or I think more Greek, but I don't know. I just love sharing food, so it's a nice way to do it.
And so have you been to Elm Bank before?
No, my first time. I've driven by so many times. I can't believe I've missed out all this time.
What do you think of this venue?
It's beautiful, stunning. Yeah, gorgeous. All these little unexpected little crevices, little spots where just very peaceful.
Let's try it.
Something happening here. What is exactly clear? There's a man with a gun over there. Telling me I've got to beware. Next time we stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Bad lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their mind, getting so much distance from behind. Next time we stop, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
Well, you use cornstarch and immerse glue, mix them together, make like a dough, and then from the dough, you put the color in the dough, the paint color, and then you knead until it comes out like a, fine and like a dough, and from there you take a little bit of a piece of dough, and I use toothpick to roll over and make it flat like a petal or leaves or whatever. Everything made by hand.
So I've seen paper flowers and cloth flowers, but is this something that's popular in Asia, or is this something you invented?
I didn't invent it. I learned from a Japanese girlfriend more than 30 years ago in California. She taught me how to make from Wonder Bread.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I used to use the word Wonder Bread flowers. But when we moved here, the flowers kind of fragile when it's dry. I stopped for 4 years and start it again.
And how did you end up in Elm Bank? Do you do a lot of shows like this all over the area?
Not all over, just many big shows.
So where did you go last?
Boston Flower Show.
Okay, very good. All right. Anything else we should know?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right then. Thank you very much.
Yes, I custom design build for Tiny House Northeast, and these two are both our designs.
And do you live in a tiny house yourself?
Part-time I do, yeah.
Actually, nice to kind of like an office too.
These particular buildings here at this event were brought with the idea that people would have an outbuilding, so sort of a garden house. Or guest house / office, etc. So it doesn't have a bathroom in this one, but we can custom design in anything. And we think about things like hobbies and pets and disabilities. So all of those things count in using every square foot.
So tell me some of the things you've designed for people.
Oh, we've done a pub on wheels. We've done welcome station, several tiny houses. Beverage serving stations, offices, and of varying sizes, up to 28 or 30 feet, but as short as, gosh, one of our buildings is like 10 feet. But our average is 16 to 24 feet.
Now these are wheels. Are these meant to be moved around every now and then, or?
Not at all meant to take off the wheels, but they can be moved around because they're only 8.5 feet wide.
And is it tricky to move them?
They're heavy. They require a truck, and the smaller building over here, if you pan over, that one actually can be taken with only an F-150, something like that. And then the one behind me directly is more of a 1-ton truck job. So the capacity is, it's carrying, pulling maybe 7,000 pounds or something and upwards.
Now, do you work with a lot of what percentage of the people do you think are actually living in them, or and the rest are just like having as a extra place?
In the past, they've all been living in them, except for the ones that are specifically commercially based, right, that I mentioned. But these days, more and more people are just interested in having an accessory building where they are enjoying a simpler life, be it in their own backyard with the landscaping and such. And it's a really nice respite for guests and the people living in the bigger house because it's simple. It's a simple environment.
Cute little guest house.
Yeah.
Anything else we should know?
Well, tinyhousenortheast.com, and there's a contact form on there, so should you want to ask any additional questions, you fill out the contact form, and we tend to answer all sorts of questions, even if it doesn't end in a sale. We like to answer questions. We're trying to have more affordable housing in the Northeast, and we're a New Hampshire business.
I can imagine this is an unusual living development.
This is a really highly qualified choice if it's a full-time living arrangement. Affordable housing for folks who really just need anything to keep themselves sheltered and warm. They might not have thought a lot about this, but it does fill that niche. But usually we have a lot of postgraduates and middle-aged people being our biggest contingency, just looking for something affordable. And then the living room becomes their outdoors, or I should say the outdoors becomes the living room.
Well, I graduated with an accounting degree, 1980. Couldn't get a job. There's a recession going on, so I went to work for a stonemason and went on my own in 1987. I was on a big project in Salt Lake City and missing my family, and the landscape architect suggested I start carving stone. That's what I did. And so now my company, half of my business is stonework, the other half is stone sculpture, and I exhibit all over New England. I have pieces across the world.
So are these in a lot of public spaces or a lot of homes? Or?
They're in private collections and they're in public spaces. My biggest place is probably Al Nober in Kensington, New Hampshire. They have a sculpture property there.
Now, these are so heavy. It seem like they'd be difficult to deal with.
Well, I'm fortunate. I have a monument crane, which is designed. It has a beam across with manual chain falls, so I can lift a piece up. That piece over there is for 850 pounds. Lift it up manually, slide it off, drop it on the legs.
It's amazing.
So that's how I install a lot of my sculpture.
Wow, but you never thought about this when you were taking your accounting classes.
No.
But maybe you're glad you got out of it. Didn't end up in front of a desk.
Yeah, I'm happy to be where I am. I love what I do.
And so, what should we know about your product, your stuff here?
Well, I do. I have my great grandmother was Abenaki, so I have a lot of Native American influence. I have Celtic influence, and I carve basically from within, and I have a passion for it. So I do utilitarian stone sculpture, like these eagles and hawks or benches that can be used in gardens. So I have a lot of garden sculpture. I'll do giant monumental pieces. Did a Holocaust museum piece. I have a 11-foot tall Enlightened One Buddha on display. It's whatever comes to me when I'm carving. I don't usually know what I'm carving unless it's a commission, and that's probably my most difficult thing to do.